everybody, welcome back. This is the JR Wisdom channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in once again. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all my future videos. So check me out. So today I'm discussing a topic that I just happened to come across an article while I was scrolling around on social media. No, I haven't been on here in a while, but I figured I'd go ahead and knock this one out while it was fresh on my mind. It was an article by that Nicole Bitchie. I guess that's the name of the blogger that you guys may have heard of. They were interviewing a guy by the name of Don Benjamin. Many of you may be aware of him, and based off the thumbnail that you see, you probably saw him on TV, ads for clothing, so on and so forth. He's a personality, model, actor. I believe he's also a musician as well. So he was doing this interview, I guess, in light of his recent book that he just put out, autobiographical style. And one of the questions that caught my eye, which was like the headline for the article, was in reference to men and infidelity and cheating. And I guess he was asked his thoughts on what he thinks as far as men cheating and why they cheat. And what was interesting, and I'm going to read the little blurb as well, you can check in the description to read the article for yourself as well, was that he said that he believed it was due to parental issues and or bad influences, which is typically what it is a lot of times. But you know, based off videos I've done in the past, it all comes back to insecurity, in my opinion, is what it stems from, is insecurity. A lot of these things that it leads up to. So the question that was asked was, speaking of distractions and temptations, when it comes to things like infidelity or unfaithfulness in relationships, what's one thing men and women should understand? He said, I think for men, a lot of times it stems from past issues with parents or influence, not getting the proper influence from people around us, and our need for certain attention. It goes deeper than just a situation per se. My advice for women is that it doesn't have nothing to do with you. You could be the best woman in the world, but if a man is broken inside, he has to dig deep and fix those issues, because the infidelity is usually something deeper that he's searching for, and he doesn't realize that it could stem from his childhood. This is true, and I definitely agree with him on that. And for those of you, I've done a video, I believe it was a few months ago. I haven't been putting out a lot of content, and once again, I apologize for that, where I address a similar issue of what he's talking about, is that a man sleeping with numerous women is not going to bring you peace. And I've talked about this article before. He can, and you'll see the thumbnail, and I'll link it at the end of this video if you stick around. That way you can check the video out yourself. Until a man actually knows himself, knows who he is, and is secure with himself, just dealing with a bunch of women is never going to bring him happiness. And I know I've had guys comment on my videos saying, it's not about that, blah, blah, blah. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go for it. If you just want to sleep with a bunch of women, but if you're looking for a true connection, you got to know who you are first. You know what I mean? But based off, I want to expound off of what Don Benjamin was saying, based off my thoughts and what I've come to learn and what I've encountered by talking to different dudes and individuals and myself, is basically it just comes down to, if you're in a relationship, whether it be you have an understanding with your girl, your significant other, your wife, fiance, whoever, that you are exclusive and this is to be a monogamous relationship, but you happen to step out without letting her know, there's a few things at hand. Even though if you're single but it's monogamous, you might say, well, I'm still single at the end of the day. But if you have an understanding with this lady, that's completely different. So I always say it boils down to insecurity, and I'm going to address a few things that I believe links back to that, based upon that, is, and why men do happen to cheat. And it's not always the woman's fault when it comes to these things, but a woman may be the catalyst. Not a woman may be the catalyst, because obviously you're in a relationship, but it's certain things that he's not addressing that leads up to this. For example, he may do it because he's his girl angers him. He gets angry and he feels like he'll get back at her by going out and sleeping with another woman, or I'll show her, or have a little side chick, which is the dumbest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? But if you feel like that's gonna have some get back, so to speak, it doesn't. It's just gonna be. It's not gonna cure anything. It's just immature to get angry instead of just talking it out, discussing it, or just be single. A lot of this stuff I'm gonna keep saying. Just be single if you're gonna go through all this. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is it being passive aggressive. It's a passive aggressive thing to do. Is if there's an issue, or you're gonna pay her back or get back at her, excuse me, by sleeping with another woman. It's very passive aggressive instead of communicating and discussing the issue, which you may say, I have tried that, but that's neither here nor there. Another reason is just plain lust. You see a woman that you may feel like you want to sleep with just because she's attractive. Here's a news flash for anybody watching. For the dudes that's watching, definitely. You're always gonna see a woman that's more beautiful. You're always gonna come across a woman that's more beautiful at the end of the day. I say this to my clients when it comes to selling, looking for a house. You're always gonna find after you under contract on one house, you're always gonna find another house that you're gonna be like, man, I should have got that house. And that's why it's a never-ending situation. That's why you have to be content with yourself and content with that who you with, or just be single at the end of the day, or just rent an apartment in that case. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It may not make sense to a lot of y'all, but men cheat due to feeling underappreciated. They're not feeling appreciated. They feel like the woman there was taking advantage of them, so on and so forth. They feel like they're going out of their way, maybe putting her up on a pedestal, and she's not reciprocating. So they may cheat due to that. Or they may feel like there's a woman out there in the street that's able to do certain things that she isn't able to do. Another thing is, to piggyback off what he was saying as far as the parenting portion of it, is many people who do this have seen their parents do it. Men have seen their fathers or even their mothers cheating on the other parent, or just cheating on their boyfriend, so on and so forth. So they emulate that behavior. They just feel that it's cool, even though as an adult, you should know better. You just feel like it's the thing to do because you've seen it done as a child and growing up, and feel like that's something that you should be practicing as well. Another thing that a lot of dudes we tend to go for, and we tend to fall for, especially if you're in a relationship or you're married, when you have single friends, is that your single friends may be living this lifestyle and you may try to emulate it, or they may encourage you to partake in these things, to go out, to hit the club, to party, instead of, may make fun of you, or may make fun of men saying you're being a hermit, staying at home, you booed up, so on and so forth. And that influence tends to wear some people down, and they go out and they step out on a relationship, even though it's not necessarily something that they would do ordinarily if that pressure wasn't put on them, but they would still step out because their friends and buddies and guys that they're hanging out with are doing the same thing, and it's just something to be down, which is another thing in terms of peer pressure. Everybody has a sovereign will, and if the relationship was really that strong, then it's about what you value at the end of the day. So what it boils down to is not being honest with your partner, which is being insecure. If you were secure, you would either be single, or you would make your desires, wants known up front. And you never know who the situation. There's always something. I've always heard, you never know what the person you're with is up for, or is cool with, or what they'll tolerate at the end of the day, as long as you're honest with them, or you let them know, hey, this is what I'm into, blah, blah, blah. You never know what will happen. So just the nature of you being honest, there's no type of deception or devious behavior if it's known up front. I heard somewhere where a guy said a woman will treat you like God if you're honest with her, if you're just honest with her, in that fact. That's why there's so many relationships out here where guys are living, in polygamous or polyamorous relationships from that. So it's just food for thought. I totally agree with what he's saying. A lot of these things need to be addressed. A lot of these things you need to go within before you actually get yourself in a committed relationship or anything like that, to know exactly what it is that you want before you commit to someone, because you're holding their feelings and all of these things in the palm of your hand, so to speak. Not the happiness, but they're trusting you to be monogamous in this situation. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts below, how you guys feel about it. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry it's been so long. If you got any questions or any topics you'd like me to discuss, feel free to comment below or email me. All the links are in the description. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, peace be upon you and the mercy and blessings of the Almighty. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.